Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Monday, May the 3rd. We got an 8-game Monday slate to go over. As always guys, I'm going to give my quick overview of this slate, what does stand out to me, looking at this slate on Sunday night, just my early thoughts. We'll go through each game, we'll talk about each team, just do a little quick, team by team breakdown. But before we do get started with the breakdown, as always, I would appreciate it if you would hit that like button down below, and if you are new to the channel here, as always guys, be sure to click that subscribe button as well, and click the notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload. You also do get notified every time I live stream. I will be back Monday afternoon with a live stream. Should be live around 4:30 Eastern time, around my normal time. So if you are free then Monday afternoon, if you want to come and hang out in the live stream, we'll be talking through the slate again, answering all your guys' questions, breaking down everything once again. So hit the like button guys, hit the subscribe button. Also, if you do really enjoy my videos, you enjoy the content that I put out on YouTube, you want to see more that I have to offer, I do have a lot of additional content on Patreon that you can check out. I give updated core plays on Patreon. Basically I give my more in-depth thoughts on the slate. I do have my spreadsheet where I kind of list my favorite plays at each position. I do a cash breakdown, a little GPP breakdown, kind of give my favorite plays for cash, favorite plays for GPPs, and then I also have a Discord chat, which is I think one of the biggest perks of being a Patreon member. You can be in the Discord chat, you can answer, or you can ask me questions whenever, up until lock. I'm always in the Discord answering questions for you guys. So check out my Patreon, link down below. If you do enjoy the content I put out on YouTube, I think you'll enjoy some of the stuff I have to offer on Patreon as well. But yeah guys, let's go ahead and take a look at Monday's slate. We'll start off with the Pacers and Wizards game. So looking at this one, this is a pretty appealing game right out of the gate. This is one that I expect to be pretty high scoring. Anytime the Wizards play, it's usually always going to be a high scoring game. We don't have a total yet on this game, but I assume it will probably have one of the higher totals on the slate. But on the Pacers side, important news to look at here. So Malcolm Brogdon was out last game, and he is currently listed as questionable. So we need to keep an eye on that. And then Miles Turner, he was listed as out. He's been out indefinitely. I don't think we really have an update on Turner yet, but I assume he's going to be out. Right now, DraftKings has him listed as questionable, but I'm assuming that Turner's going to be out, so keep an eye on that. Brogdon, though, I think is the big question mark. We don't really know if Brogdon's going to be in or out. If Brogdon is out, I think it's pretty clear where we want to go. I think Karis LeVert's one of the biggest beneficiaries. TJ McConnell at 5,400 I would like a lot as well. Now, both of these guys kind of got hurt last game because it was a huge blowout. LeVert only played 27 minutes, but he was still very productive in that time, had 42 DK points. McConnell did not play much at all. He only played 20 minutes, but again, he lost a ton of minutes due to blowout. He would have played probably 30, 32 minutes had the game stayed close. So you don't really want to look too much into the game from last game just because of the blowout. LeVert got caught, or LeVert, that cost him, that cost McConnell. Sabonis still went out there and smashed even, in limited minutes. He only played 30 minutes in the blowout, but had 75 DraftKings points. Sabonis, had one of the best games I've seen all year. Pretty sure he had like a triple-double and like 60 DK points at halftime. Like, he was on pace to absolutely smash. And then the game blowout, like, there's a legit shot if Sabonis would have played his full minutes, like he might have scored 100 DraftKings points. I mean, Sabonis was just going off last game against OKC, and he gets a really good matchup today again against the Wizards. 9,800, the price tag did go up a little bit, but assuming that Miles Turner remains out and Sabonis, starts at center again, without Miles Turner, that does benefit Sabonis a lot, and I still do like him quite a bit today as a PAP option. The matchup's obviously fantastic. I think this is another spot where Sabonis can have a ton of success, could maybe triple-double again, so he's someone I'm definitely looking to PAP for at power forward right now. LeVert for me, I think it's just a wait and see. If Brogdon plays, I don't think I'm going to go to LeVert, but if Brogdon's out again, I do like LeVert a lot. I would also like TJ McConnell. Now, O'Shea Brissett, like, I was not as high on him last slate, with Sabonis back, but he still had a really good game. He played 40 minutes. He also, he did not lose minutes in the blowout. He did play in the blowout, played 40 minutes, had 47 DK points, so he's still viable. Now, the price tag's really starting to get up there, like 6,700. I don't really think I'm going to go to Brissett on this slate, at that price point. But if they are going to keep playing him like 40 minutes a night, I mean, it's hard not to consider him just because of the massive amount of time that he's getting. But I do expect his production will take a hit now that Sabonis is back. If Goga plays, that definitely makes me less interested in Brissett just because that's, another big they could have in the rotation. Right now, Goga's also questionable. Jeremy Lamb questionable. Sumner, I believe, is expected to play. He's probable. But if Lamb and Goga play, that does lower my interest in a guy like O'Shea Brissett. So really for me, Sabonis is my favorite play from the Pacers, assuming that Miles Turner's out. But if Malcolm Brogdon's out, then I think we can look to Karis LeVert. I think we can look to TJ McConnell. If Brissett or if Goga's out again, then maybe you could go to Brissett, but I still don't like him that much at his price. Now on the Wizards side, though, this one's pretty easy for me. It seems like every slate, it's really just Russell Westbrook, and that's it. And I think that's once again the case today. I don't really see myself playing any other Wizards outside of Westbrook. But I do want to mention Daniel Gafford just real quick. He did actually start the second half. I think he started the second half ahead of Alex Len last game, and he played 25 minutes. It's so tough to predict where the center minutes are going to go for this Wizards team. Some games Len will get minutes, like he'll get like 25 minutes. Some games Gafford will get like 25 minutes. Given that Gafford started the second half over Len, like maybe they start Gafford today, but assuming that he's coming off the bench still, he's just a lower owned tournament option. He's still risky just because we don't know what the minutes are going to look like. But if they do decide to move him into the starting lineup, then maybe you could go there. Really though, I think Westbrook's the guy we want to look to from the Wizards. At this point, Westbrook is a cheat code. He goes out there, he crushes every single night. He triple doubles almost every single night. I mean, last game he didn't even get a triple double. He was 1 assist shy. Still had 74 Draftkings points. He took 30 shots last game. Like, Westbrook at this point is just someone I'm trying to pay up for every slate. I want to get him with Sabonis if I can, so I definitely like Westbrook as well at 11K. I think building around Sabonis and Westbrook going to be something I for sure look to do on this slate if I can make it work. But that's probably it for me from this game. So moving on to the next one, we got Orlando and Detroit. Now on the Orlando side, there is some that I like here. I hate rostering these Magic guys, but they're missing, some key guys. Terrence Ross is out. Chuma Okeke's out. I think Chuma Okeke being out is the big one just because these last 2 games with Okeke out, we have seen Mo Wagner start. He's been getting pretty good minutes. He started against Memphis on April 30th, played 28 minutes that day, and then he started again the game after that and played 34 minutes. In those 2 games, he scored 19 and 36 Draftkings points. Wagner has always been a relatively productive player when he does get minutes. Just dating back to his time when he was with the Wizards, when he was with the Lakers, like he's been around a fantasy point per minute player. If they're going to keep playing him 30-plus minutes a night, even with the price up a bit to 4,600, I still do like Mo Wagner a good amount today as a value option. He's someone that I think I will be going to on this Orlando team. Maybe some other value will open up as the day goes on, but just kind of as a first look, Wagner does look like a pretty decent value. It sucks that he's center only on Yahoo, but he is very cheap over there as well, only coming in at $11. So definitely like Wagner on both sides. He's my favorite play from this Magic team. I don't think I'm going to go to anyone else on Orlando, though. Like Cole Anthony, he's been playing well, had a really good game last game against Memphis, but I don't think I'm going to pay $6,900 for Cole Anthony today. There's just other guys I would rather roster at this price point that we'll talk about later. So for me, it's probably just Mo Wagner. Anthony and GPPs, I guess, is okay. Don't really want to go to the centers. Dwayne Bacon, it's just, at this point, he's someone that's so tough to roster. You never know what you're going to get from Dwayne Bacon. Seems like he's either going to score like 30 DK points or he's going to score like 10. So there's a wide range of outcomes with him. I probably won't be going there. RJ Hampton did have a really good game off the bench last game, but do I really want to chase that? Not really. So that probably does it for the Magic side. Now looking at the Pistons here, the Pistons are also going to be a team that's going to be somewhat shorthanded. They're going to be missing a decent amount of guys. Basically everyone that was out last game outside of Hamidou Diallo, all those guys are out again. So Grant, Plumlee, Joseph, Ellington, McGruder, Okafor, Smith Jr., all those guys are out again. Diallo did not play last game. He is currently questionable, so do keep an eye on this. If Diallo is out, that does leave Detroit with only 9 healthy bodies. They ran a pretty tight rotation last game. We did see heavy minutes for basically all the starters. Saddiq Bey, he played 40 minutes last game. I think he is my favorite of all the Pistons. He's not the best point per minute player, but I think with all these guys out for Detroit, like the opportunity is going to be there for Saddiq Bey. He took 21 shots last game. He didn't even shoot the ball that well, and he still had such a massive game. 7 rebounds, 5 assists. He's someone that can give you a little bit when it comes to the peripherals. He can rebound. He can get some assists. If they're going to keep playing him like 35, 40 minutes a game, I think they will continue to do that, especially because this Detroit team, they really don't have anything to play for. They need to be developing their young guys. So with all these guys out, no Grant, no Plumlee, no Joseph, with Detroit running a 9-man rotation right now, I think we're going to get massive minutes for Saddiq Bey, which does make him probably my favorite guy from this Pistons team. And on Yahoo, I do like him over there as well. $20 at the small forward position. Small forward's always a pretty gross position on Yahoo. I think Saddiq Bey is for sure one of my favorite options over there. And then Isaiah Stewart, I don't mind him either. Now, he did have a pretty disappointing game last game, but I wouldn't look too much into that. We know the kind of upside that Isaiah Stewart has whenever Plumlee's out and whenever Stewart does get the minutes. So I'm fine going back to him. I don't think he stands out as a top option for me, but still viable. Same with Josh Jackson. Josh Jackson didn't have that good of a game last game, but he played 35 minutes, which is great to see. He's probably going to get 30-plus minutes again. And then Killian Hayes should also get big minutes. He did play over 30 minutes last game. He got 32 and was pretty productive, had 31 DK points. You know, the price is starting to get up there on DraftKings. He's $5,200 on DK. But on Yahoo, Killian Hayes is still minimum salary, which I don't really understand. So minimum salary, $10. I think, you know, Killian Hayes with no Corey Joseph, expecting him to play 30 to 32 minutes. He looks like a top value on Yahoo at minimum salary. Just way too cheap right now. He should be like $15, $18. Like, he is definitely too cheap on Yahoo. So lot to like from this Detroit team. I think Saddiq Bey is probably my favorite guy to go to, and then I do like Killian Hayes a lot on Yahoo for the value that he provides over there. Frank Jackson, you could also look to off the bench. He did play 34 minutes off the bench last game. He should get big minutes just because of how thin this Pistons team is right now, and you know, he should be relatively productive when he's on the floor with all these guys out. I think if Hamidou Diallo plays, that does lower my interest a bit in Frank Jackson, but he would at least still be viable. But I don't think I'm considering anyone else. Like, I don't think I'm playing Tyler Cook or Saban Lee or Sekou. Sekou started last game, but he only played 27 minutes. He wasn't very productive. I'm not going to go to him. So for me, it's really Stewart, Jackson, Hayes, you know, Frank Jackson, or both Jacksons really. Frank Jackson for me, I think going to be dependent on if Diallo plays or not, and then obviously Saddiq Bey I like a lot. So yeah, moving on to the next game, we got Golden State and New Orleans. So on Golden State today, this is another team to keep an eye on with injuries. We already know that Kelly Oubre is going to be out today, but Andrew Wiggins is currently listed as questionable. So this is kind of important. If Andrew Wiggins does get ruled out, that will benefit guys like Kent Bazemore, Jordan Poole. You know, both of them have been priced up a little bit, but I would definitely like Bazemore and Poole a little bit more if Wiggins were to get ruled out. I'm not sure what they would do with the starting lineup if Wiggins is out. I'd assume that probably either Jordan Poole or Michael Mulder would start. Probably Mulder. It seems like they like bringing Poole off the bench, so maybe Mulder you could go to if Wiggins is out. He would probably start, get, you know, anywhere from like 25 to 30 minutes. He's super cheap. The matchup's good. I guess you could go there, but at the top you do have Curry for $10,800. I don't think I'm going to play Curry on the slate. I know the matchup's really good against the Pelicans, but normally Curry is never someone I'd go out of my way to pay up for. I'm always going to prefer Westbrook over Curry whenever they're similarly priced, and that's the case today. With it just being a $200 difference between Westbrook and Curry, like, give me Westbrook all day. Curry, Curry's a great scorer, but he is definitely scoring dependent, whereas Westbrook can go out there and give you 15 rebounds, 20 assists. Curry just doesn't do that. So I'm always going to prefer Westbrook over Curry when they're closely priced. Draymond Green, though, at 7K, I do have some interest in. He's been up and down lately, but the matchup's good against the Pelicans. Should be a fast-paced game. Definitely a game where Draymond should be able to have a lot of success. This is one of those spots where we could definitely get a big triple-double from Draymond, so I don't mind him either at 7K. Bazemore at 5,200, with Oubre out, Bazemore should start, probably play over 30 minutes. He's been relatively productive when he has been in the starting lineup. If Andrew Wiggins were to sit, that would make me like Bazemore a little bit more. At 5,200, I think Bazemore's an okay option, but if Wiggins gets ruled out, I do have a good amount of interest in Kent Bazemore. And then you could go to Jordan Poole as well. If Wiggins sits, he would probably get like 25, 30 minutes off the bench, 4,500, he'd be viable. But I would say my favorite Warriors right now are probably Draymond Green and Kent Bazemore. Those are my two favorites. Curry, I'm probably not going to. I just prefer Westbrook. Juan Toscano-Anderson had a big game off the bench last game, but I don't know if I really want to chase that. So that does it for the Warriors side. Now looking at the Pelicans here, right now we got to keep an eye on some injuries. So Steven Adams is currently questionable, which is pretty important. The last few games that he's been out, we have seen Willie Hernan-Gomez start at center. I'd assume that if Steven Adams is out again, we do see Hernan-Gomez start again at center. And then Josh Hart, who's been out for a while, I don't think he's going to play today. It looks like 3 weeks ago they said he was going to be reevaluated in 3 weeks, so maybe he returns, but I highly doubt that. So I'm expecting Hart to be out. So really for me on this Pelicans team, I don't see a ton that really stands out. Like Zion, you have at 10K. I don't think I'm going to pay for Zion on this slate. I think I do prefer someone like Westbrook. It kind of depends on what value opens up as the day goes on. I probably would still give the edge to like Sabonis over Westbrook, especially if Brogdon and Turner are out again for the Pacers. I would definitely prefer Sabonis over Zion. But maybe if we get a ton of value as the day goes on, maybe I could play Westbrook, Sabonis, and Zion together. I doubt it, but it depends on what value opens up. Right now, I do prefer Westbrook over Westbrook and Sabonis over Zion in terms of spend up options. But I would say Zion's probably my favorite play from the Pelicans. I don't really like Brandon Ingram that much at his price. Lonzo, I think, is viable just because of how well he's been playing. 7,800. That feels kind of expensive for Lonzo, but he's been getting massive minutes. He's been playing really well. 65, 67 DK points in 2 of his last 3 games. He feels a little bit expensive. It feels like you're overpaying for Lonzo, but the upside's obviously there. The matchup's really good. You could go there in tournaments as a lower-owned option. And then Willie Hernan-Gomez, I still have interest in. If Steven Adams is out again and Willie Hernan-Gomez starts, I'd assume we get around 30 minutes from him. He only played 27 minutes last game, but he was in some foul trouble. So if he starts and he's not in foul trouble, he's going to get probably 30 to 32 minutes here. At 5,200, he would definitely be a viable option. Obviously, though, this is dependent on if Steven Adams plays or not, which is news that we don't have right now. But moving on to the next game, guys. Talking about Portland and Atlanta. So on Portland today, looking at the Blazers here, Damian Lillard we have at 9,200. I do have some interest in Damian Lillard for sure. He's not really someone I've been playing lately, but Damian Lillard's looked a lot better these last few games. He had a good game against Brooklyn, 36 minutes, 59 DK points. He had another good game against Boston on Sunday. I think he finished with over 50 DK points in that one. The minutes have been there for Lillard. We know he's going to play a ton of minutes if the game is close. The matchup here against Atlanta, not as good as we would think. Atlanta has been better defensively this year. They haven't been playing as fast, but still, 9,200 for Damian Lillard. I've been saying it recently. He's kind of underpriced for the upside that he has now. It's going to be tough to predict when Lillard puts up his big games. Like, he still has a pretty low floor. We've seen Lillard definitely put up, disappointing games at times, but he's viable for sure on this slate. Again, I think I prefer Westbrook. I think I prefer Sabonis in terms of pay-up options, but Lillard's up there with those guys. Do have some interest in Damian Lillard, and I do have some interest in Yusuf Nurkic as well. Nurkic, this is a back-to-back, so keep an eye on that. He has been resting on back-to-backs lately. He didn't rest on their last back-to-back, but he also played limited minutes in both those games. He played his full minutes on Sunday against the Celtics. He played like 30 minutes, so keep an eye on his status, but assuming that he's not resting and assuming he's going to play today, we should get probably 30 minutes from Nurkic. He's been a really productive player when he's on the floor. 7,100, he still has the upside to give you 40, 45 DK points and be a good play at this price point. So my 2 favorite plays, I think, from Portland are definitely Damian Lillard and Yusuf Nurkic. Probably not going to anyone else, though, on this team outside of those 2 guys, or, really even considering anyone else. On the Atlanta side, though, looking at the Hawks here, so you got to keep an eye on the status of Bogdan Bogdanovic. He is currently questionable, or he's probable, actually, so I thought he was questionable, but he's probable. He's expected to play, so really on Atlanta, they're basically fully healthy. Obviously, they don't have DeAndre Hunter still. They don't have Cam Reddish, but Bogdan's expected to play. Kevin Huerter's back, so I don't think there's a ton that stands out from Atlanta to me. If I had to play anyone here, it would definitely be Trae Young. 9,400 for Trae Young in a good matchup like this against Portland. He does stand out as a pretty decent pay-up option. Now, I know I've mentioned a lot of guys. Like, we have Westbrook, we have Sabonis, we have Zion, we have Trae, we have Lillard. Like, I've talked about a lot of pay-up options. How does Trae rank, with those guys? I think I'd probably put Trae behind them, behind Sabonis, behind Westbrook, probably behind Lillard as well. I think I would give the edge to Dame over Trae today. But you could go to Trae Young for sure at 9,400. I'm probably not playing anyone else on Atlanta, though, outside of Trae. He's really the only guy I have interest in from this Hawks team. I think Capella's probably overpriced, in my opinion. Same with John Collins. I don't really want to go to anyone else outside of Trae. So that does it for the Atlanta side. We can go ahead and talk about the next game. We got the Knicks and the Grizzlies. So on the Knicks today, do need to keep an eye on the status of Nerlens Noel. So Nerlens Noel, he did injure his ankle in Sunday's game, and he was not able to return. It looks like it was a sprained ankle. So given that he sprained his ankle on Sunday and it's a back-to-back, I'm assuming that Nerlens Noel is going to be out today, which probably means we see Taj Gibson move into the starting lineup. And if Taj Gibson starts, he's got power forward and center eligibility on DraftKings. He's probably my favorite play from this Knicks team, only 3,100. He is someone that I would definitely be looking to as a value play. He probably plays like 30-plus minutes here. He played around 30 minutes on Sunday's game after Noel got injured. I'd assume he start here, probably get like 32, 34 minutes. Gibson has been relatively productive when he does get minutes and when he does get on the floor. And we've seen him have good games in the past whenever he starts in place of Noel. So assuming that Noel does sit here, given that he got injured, and Taj Gibson winds up starting, with power forward and center eligibility, I do like Taj Gibson a good amount as a value option right now. 3,100 on DK, super cheap. It's a little bit tougher to play him on Yahoo, though. He's center only, which really sucks. Also, you have Mo Wagner at center that you can play. I still think Gibson's viable, but given that he's center only on Yahoo, I'm not as interested in him there. I think on DraftKings, where you can play him at power forward, that makes him super appealing, assuming that Noel does not play. But like Julius Randle at 10,300, another pay-up option that I think is okay. You know, there's some other guys I'd rather play over Randle. I think Randle's going to be lower owned compared to some of these other studs that we talked about. So if you want to play him in tournaments for the ownership, I understand it. I don't think Randle's going to be someone I get to, though, you know, in my one lineup today. RJ Barrett, you know, he just continues to play massive minutes. 6,800, he kind of feels priced appropriately, but he's been playing like 40 minutes a night. He played 40 minutes again on Sunday. So we're probably going to get like 40, 42 minutes from RJ Barrett. Definitely viable here. I don't mind him either. I would say that Barrett and Gibson, assuming that Noel's out, like those are probably my two favorite plays from the Knicks, followed by Julius Randle. You know, against Memphis, I wouldn't say this is the best matchup, but there are some guys I do have some interest in from the Knicks today. Gibson, though, if he starts, is my favorite value from this team and the guy that I like the most. Now, on the Memphis side, not as much that I really like here. The matchup's not great. The Knicks play slow. They play good defense. You know, Joe Val, Ja Morant, I don't think I'm going to get to on this slate. Ja, I don't really like at his price tag. I could see maybe playing J Val just for the upside that he has on a nightly basis. He did have a massive game against the Knicks earlier this season, 49 DK points in 35 minutes. But, like, you have Nurkic for less. I think I'd rather play Nurkic over J Val for the savings. So, don't think I'm going to get to J Val today. If I had to play anyone on Memphis, though, it probably would be him. I'm probably not going to any, like Kyle Anderson, Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr. I'm not playing these guys in a tough matchup. You know, on an 8-game slate, there's just better options. So we can go ahead and move on to the next game, talk about the Sixers and the Bulls. So on the Sixers today, this is a back-to-back for the Sixers, so do keep an eye on that. We don't know if Embiid's going to play or not. Assuming that everyone's full go, though, I don't see a ton that stands out from the Sixers. Like Embiid, you know, you can throw him up there with all these other pay-up options that we talked about. Against the Bulls, this is a pretty good matchup for Embiid, but I still don't think I'm going to rank him ahead of some other studs that we mentioned. Like, I'd rather play Sabonis. I think I'd rather play Zion. I'd rather play Westbrook. So Embiid's going to be, you know, a little bit down the list for me in terms of pay-up options. Ben Simmons, I'm probably not going to, though. Tobias Harris is super affordable. Like, $6,900 for Tobias Harris does look kind of appealing. I could see maybe playing him just because the price is coming down. Like, if you made me play Harris or Simmons, I'd rather play Harris, given that he's cheaper. But I'm not considering really any Sixers today as top options. But keep an eye on the injury report because this is a back-to-back. They did play an overtime game against the Spurs on Sunday. We could maybe see Embiid rest or Simmons rest or something. So be sure to monitor that. But right now, I just got to assume that, you know, everyone's full go. Now, on the Bulls side, looking at Chicago here, they're another team that's dealing with some injuries today. Zach LaVine, he's currently listed as doubtful. He's not expected to play. He's still in the COVID protocols. But the big one, Nikola Vucevic, is questionable. He was announced as playing last game, and then he got late scratched, and he did not play. So he is questionable for today. Keep an eye on this. If he does get ruled out, that actually impacts a decent amount from this Chicago team. With Vucevic out last game, really the two biggest beneficiaries were Thad Young and Daniel Tice. Thad Young did move into the starting lineup, and he played 33 minutes, was really productive, had 45 DK points. You know, the price came up a good amount, but if Vooch is out again, I do like Thad Young a lot. Daniel Tice started center. He didn't have that great of a game, but he did play 29 minutes. I would be fine going right back to him at 4,600. He's another guy that has power forward and center eligibility on DK, which, you know, makes him a lot easier to roster. So if Vooch is out, really like Thad Young, really like Daniel Tice. Lauri Markkanen should benefit as well, but he only played 23 minutes off the bench. Seems like he's going to be limited to like 22 to 24 minutes a night. Doesn't seem like he's going to really be playing more than that right now. So it's a little bit tougher to get to him, but without Vooch, you know, there should be more opportunity for him. Patrick Williams did play a ton of minutes last game. He played 33. You know, he's not a great point per minute player, but the minutes should be more secure for Patrick Williams if Vooch sits. So, I mean, there's a lot to like from Chicago if Vooch is out. Kobe White, you know, would also get increased usage, increased opportunity. He was in foul trouble last game, but he should get more opportunity if Vooch sits. He'd be viable too. I would say that Thad Young and Daniel Tice, though, if Vooch gets ruled out, Thad Young and Daniel Tice are the two guys that I like the most. But if Vooch plays, and, you know, I don't think there's going to be really anything I go to from the Bulls here. If Vooch is in, that just kind of takes me off of everyone. So it's kind of a wait and see for now in terms of, you know, Vucevic's status, because that impacts a lot of my interest in this Bulls team. But we can go ahead and move on to the last two games of the night. We got the Nuggets and the Lakers. So on the Nuggets today, you got Jokic at the top for 10,900. You know, normally Jokic, he's always someone I want to try and pay up for. He's usually always a stud that I, you know, consider. I think today you could put him up there with Westbrook and Sabonis. Like we've talked about a lot of studs, but Jokic is normally always at the top of my list. That's probably going to be the case today. You know, I would still put Westbrook ahead of him. I think I would put Sabonis ahead of him as well when you factor in that Sabonis is, you know, $1,000 cheaper. But Jokic would probably be my third favorite stud. behind Westbrook and Sabonis. Definitely always, interested in Jokic. The matchup here against the Lakers is not great, but this is a game we should expect to stay close. We should expect Jokic to play his normal minutes, and we know Jokic, like Westbrook, just has massive upside on a nightly basis. But I'm probably not playing any Nuggets today outside of Jokic. MPJ at 8,400. I don't really like him at this price point. He just feels a bit overpriced right now. Aaron Gordon's he's been terrible. You can't roster him until you actually see him do something. I mean, he's just been so bad. PJ Dozier, he was really good for those first 2 games whenever he was starting, but since then he's kind of he's kind of come back down to earth. Really hasn't done much these last few games, so tough to trust PJ Dozier. Campazzo, he should continue to get pretty big minutes. The production is going to be inconsistent on a night-to-night basis, but he's going to play pretty big minutes without Jamal Murray and without Will Barton. For 4,600, I guess he's an okay option, but really for me on Denver, it's just Jokic, I think, and that's probably it. Now on the Lakers side, this is a back-to-back for the Lakers, so this is going to be something to monitor. With LeBron and AD both coming back from injuries, there's a possibility that both of them do not play today on the back-to-back. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Dennis Schroeder did not play on Sunday for health and safety protocols, so there's a good chance he could be out as well. Right now, though, assuming that everyone's in, like assuming LeBron plays, AD plays, I don't see a ton that stands out on the Lakers side. AD, he was kind of affordable on Sunday slate. He was 9,100. He's got priced up to 9,700 on DK, so I don't think I'm going to go to AD on Draftkings, but again, on Yahoo, I think AD just looks like one of the best pay-up options. He remains way too cheap on Yahoo. He was like 50, 60% owned on Sunday slate. He's a guy that I thought you kind of had to have on Yahoo. They're just not pricing him to where he should be. $34 is, again, it's way too cheap for Anthony Davis. He should be priced up to what he normally should be, like $45, $50. Like, you're still getting a massive discount on Anthony Davis. Once again, one of my favorite plays on Yahoo, but obviously keep an eye on the injury report. This is a back-to-back for the Lakers, so there's a possibility that LeBron and AD wind up resting here. Assuming they play, though, on DraftKings, I don't like anything from the Lakers, but on Yahoo, I like AD a lot at his price on Yahoo. But last game of the night, we got the Spurs and the Jazz. So on the Spurs side, they rested a lot of guys on Sunday. DeRozan, Dejounte Murray, Jakob Poeltl were all out Sunday. I'm assuming that they will all be back today. So I'm expecting the Spurs team to basically be fully healthy outside of Derek White. We know Derek White's going to remain out. He's going to be out for a few games, or he's unlikely to play again this season. They're probably just going to hold him out the rest of the season. But I'm expecting DeRozan, Murray, and Poeltl to play. So really, there's nothing that stands out from San Antonio here if everyone's in. Everyone feels priced appropriately. The matchup against Utah is not great. This is a game that could potentially blow out, has some blowout potential. Utah hasn't been playing as good lately, but still, what's the spread in this game? Like, we don't have a line yet, but I'd be worried about some blowout here. The matchup's not great. Everyone on San Antonio is priced appropriately. Like, if everyone's playing, I just don't really like anything from the Spurs today. And then on the Utah side, I don't really like much here either. Obviously, Mitchell and Conley both remain out, but like Clarkson, Ingles, they all kind of feel priced appropriately. The price tag's come down a little bit on Joe Ingles, so at 6,600, I could maybe see going to him at this price point. Without Conley and Mitchell, he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. He's going to start at point guard. Definitely someone you can consider. But like Georges Niang, he's been starting recently, but the minutes have started to come down. He hasn't really been playing that well. I've played Georges Niang literally like 3 days in a row, or I've played in these last 2 slates and it hasn't gone well. I don't plan on playing him today, so it is very likely that Georges Niang is going to have a good game today because I'm not going to play him. He's burned me the last 2 slates. The day I hop off of him will be the day that he goes off. It's going to be funny because I know it's going to happen, but I'm not playing Georges Niang. The minutes are trending down. The production's not been good. Even with him starting, he's tough to roster right now. So probably on Utah, it's just the main guys as low-owned tournament options. Clarkson, Ingles, Bogdanovich for low-owned GPP plays I think are viable, but none of them stand out to me on this bigger slate. So that does it for all 8 games today, guys. I appreciate you watching the video. As always, I hope you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to hit that like button down below before you do get out of here and hit that subscribe button as well. Also, be sure to click the notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload, and you also do get notified every time I live stream. Should be live once again Monday around 4:30 Eastern Time, around my normal time. So if you guys want to come in, hang out, tune into my YouTube channel then. I will be live breaking down the slate and answering all your guys' questions. And also, if you enjoy my videos, guys, you want to get more content from me, you want to see more that I have to offer, I have updated core plays, my spreadsheets, my Discord chat, everything that or every piece of content I don't put out on YouTube, I have stuff on Patreon that you can check out. So if you're interested in that, be sure to check out the Patreon link down below in the description. But that does it, guys. I've talked it long enough, so enjoy this slate, or best of luck on the slate. I'm kind of rambling with my words here. Best of luck on the slate, guys. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.